Morning, this is Dan from Eatonoffroad&customs. Today we're installing a leveling kit on a 2022 F-150. I'm going to show you the kit that we're installing on this one today is made by Fab Lifts, made here in the USA. Lifetime warranty on their lifts. It's a solid aluminum block with threads. We'll go ahead and show you what we're doing here. So here's the Fab spacer kit. Open it up and show you. Come with instructions with their kits. The kit is a solid aluminum block. This kit here is going to be a 2.5 inch leveling kit. It's got threaded ends to go back through and bolt where the strut bolts through the top of the strut pocket, as well as recessed holes, and comes with all the hardware as well. This is going on this 2022, as I said, F-150. You can see the noticeable gap difference between the rear and the front. Stay tuned and we'll have pictures once this is all installed and finished up. Thanks. Show a little insight of what all has to come apart on this. So you're going to have to take the top A-arm ball joint nut loose, break that loose from your spindle assembly. On the newer trucks you have spline shaft that runs through the middle. You got to release that so that the axle will actually slide back to give you enough room to push this down to get your strut assembly out. You also need to disconnect your steering from your spindle. That allows enough room to get everything out. You're going to have 3 bolts up here on top that will come out. Take the nuts off of those. That'll release the top of the strut assembly, and then you have these 2 bolts on the bottom. Once you release those 2 nuts off the bottom of the strut, that entire strut assembly will come out, and then we'll show you how the spacer kit bolts onto that strut assembly for reinstalling. So once you have your strut removed from the truck, you can see the 3 studs sticking up off the top of your strut assembly. Fab lift is going to have inset recessed holes that are going to slide down on top of the factory studs. Their kit comes with nylock nuts that you replace onto these studs instead of the factory nuts that have a built-in washer. You lock down these nylock nuts, reinstall your strut assembly, and then it comes with new grade 8 bolts that will thread into the top of this and hold it into your strut tower. To wrap things up, once you get your strut reinstalled, a lot of times it's easier to push those 2 bolts out of the strut assembly for reinstalling once you get the spacer. The spacer is hard to see, but it's up here on top. Goes back in like we talked about and sits in the pocket, and your bolts come in from the top, and you have the 3 of them. You just have to align, get torqued down. One thing to remember when putting these back together, the newer ones have this axle assembly that goes in, and it's a vacuum actuator for the 4-wheel drive. So as you're reassembling, make sure you get the axle set back in place properly, torqued down to the proper specs before reassembling the rest of the strut assembly to the upper A-arm, control arm, steering, and all the other components. Double check all your ABS lines, clip them back into place in the proper clips. Double check all your connections and bolts, torque everything to proper spec, put your wheel back on, and move to the other side. Get this wrapped up, put back together. I'll show you completed pictures when it's done. As always, thanks for watching.